Now we've cut 11 strips of each of our 5 colors. Those are going to be sewn together, and then we'll work with those. So that's not the hard part. The hard part is making sure we get them sewn together in the right order and in a way that we will get all of the cuts that we need out of it. The first quilt that I did was out of purple materials, and it had a little bit smaller strip, but I've gone with a little larger strip in different colors. This is one of the pie shapes, one of the triangles I've cut for this quilt. It's going to start with the dark, then the floral, then the purple, then the cream, and then the lightest shade. We want them in this order on the table so that we sew them correctly. We want the first to the very left, and then the next one we're going to put the right color on top of the left color and then sew them together. Okay, now we're ready to start sewing on our strips. We have 11 strips of each color. We want to take the first 2 colors in our triangle here, the dark green and the floral. And because the dark green is first, we want it on the left and we want the floral on the right. We're going to take the dark green, open it out, take the floral, put the floral on top. You want to take it and turn it onto that one. So your second fabric will be on top of the first. Now you've got selvages on this end. We want to get these even. We want to even up the right side. Get it under the presser foot. And I set the presser foot down on it so I can even up some more of it and it won't go anywhere. Now get these 2 edges even right here. We've already arranged to have a scant 1/4 inch seam. So we're going to hold our finger on the 2 threads, the one from the needle and the one from the bobbin. Just put your finger down on it to give it some tension. Then we start sewing, and you can let go of that. We're going to sew a little bit, stop, line it up right here again. Now we want this fabric going in at an even pace at the edge of this presser foot because I've already made sure my needle is in the right position to have a scant 1/4 inch seam. We'll continue to sew. Every time you get up there, leave your needle down where it won't go anywhere. Get this edge right here even and just put your fingers on it so it will not get out of alignment. Now, I've gotten 2 strips. I want to check my seam width before I go too far with this. So I have sewn 1 green one and 1 floral together. I have the green on the left and the floral on the right, and I lay the floral on top of the green and then sew down this seam. I have my needle where I believe it is a scant 1/4 inch. I'm going to iron, not press, but iron these 2 strips. And I'm going to iron it open to where the seam is toward the dark. So the dark one has to be on the top when I iron it. And then when I open it out, the seam will go toward the dark. After we have ironed it, we get it open. We're going to check our seam width before we do all of these strips and have them all off. Okay. Now, this was 2.5. And this was 2.5. So 2.5 plus 2.5 is 5. This should be 5 inches if I didn't have them sewn together. But I've taken a 1/4 inch from each material as I sewed it. So a 1/4 plus a 1/4 is a 1/2. So you've got 5 inches minus a 1/2. This should be 4.5 inches wide if our seam width was right on where our presser foot was. You can take a ruler like this or just a seam gauge, but you're going to lay it down, put the marker here, lay it across, and I am dead on it. I couldn't be any better, and we didn't edit this. This was a first time thing. If you use your ruler, even it up with one side, and then your 4.5 line should come on this side. So we know that our stitch width is a scant 1/4 inch because after we sewed the 2 together, we only lost a 1/2 inch total from these two. So this is 4.5, so we know we're right, so we're going to continue sewing all the rest of the strips together so that we can construct our quilt top. Okay, we've just sewn a green strip to a floral strip. We're not going to take it out of the machine. We're not going to disconnect it in any way. We're going to take another green strip, another floral strip, put it right on top of the green strip, get the selvages even, get the right side even with the edge of the presser foot, and you have to watch that very carefully. Don't watch the rest of your fabric. Watch where it's going by the presser foot. I go ahead and get these edges, oops, there it slipped out. Don't let it do that. Get it under the presser foot. It's good to take a couple of stitches and then even it up. But make sure it's going by the right edge of the presser foot so that your seam width stays the same. We're going to continue sewing until we get all of the green and the florals together without cutting them apart. We're going to chain sew them. So I'll be sewing for a while. Now we have all of our green and floral strips sewn together. So we have these over here, and we still have our strips in the order that they go on the block. The next two, because it's just the easiest way to do it, I'm going to take this one and the lighter colored one and flip this one over onto this one. So I've got the floral on the bottom and the really light colored cream on top. I'm going to start sewing these strips and get all of these sewn together. Okay, we have gotten the dark green and the floral together, all of those strips. We have sewn the light floral and the lightest strip together and ironed them open. Now we're going to take the floral, the lighter strips, turn it over onto the purple print and sew all of these strips together so that it makes it easier to press toward the dark side. So we'll get started with that now. Now we have the dark green and the floral together, and we have all three of these other ones together. The purple print, the cream with the flowers, and the lighter colored. All of them are pressed toward the dark. So the last step is to take this one of the darker colors and put this one of the lighter colors on top of it. Even up these edges. Sew all of these strips together, and then we will be ready to cut our blocks. Okay, we have all of our strips together. I'm going to cut them apart on my machine here before I even get up. And I run it down to where I've got the same end in my hand as I cut. That way they're all easy to iron in the same direction. We're going to iron these seams toward the dark so that all of them, when we get done, should be facing in the same direction. And that is important for this quilt. So now I'll press these and I'll be right back.